Good day, everyone, and welcome to today's staff development session, which will be conducted by Latoya Pritchard, Rhonda Wallison, and yours truly, Carlotta Monkhouse Curlett. Today's session will be on incorporating Bloom's taxonomy into lesson planning. Let's begin. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to understand Bloom's 6 cognitive levels, write objectives aligned to each level, and create lessons plan incorporating multiple cognitive levels. Introduction. Bloom's taxonomy is a hierarchical framework that categorizes cognitive learning objectives into 6 levels, ranging from basic recall to complex creative thinking. Each level builds upon the previous one, forming a structure that educators use to design curriculum, assessments, and learning activities. Bloom's taxonomy helps teachers move students beyond the recall into meaningful learning.
Good day, everyone. I am Rhoda Wallison, and I'll be continuing from my group member, Miss Carletta. I'm so excited to try Bloom taxonomy in my classroom. I feel like this is something my students can really benefit from. Let me share how level 1 to 3 work beautifully in narrative writing or science within the classroom. Level 1, remember. I warm the students up by asking them to list 5 elements of narrative writing. We did a fun chalkboard race, boys on one side and girls on another. They were shouting, laughing, and competing, remembering without even realizing. This simple recall method can help my weaker learners to feel smart and included. Another example how you can apply this method to your lesson plan is by writing your specific objective. One example here, students will define the term osmosis. This is part of a science lesson. Level 2, understand. We then move to level 2. Students work in pairs to explain how each element helps to share a story. For instance, the key words in level 2 on the Bloom's taxonomy is describe, explain, summarize, discuss. Examples explain how the water cycle works. Describe how the lever make work easier or summarize a chapter of a poem. I use the think and peer activity within my classroom. Therefore, students work together and discuss their ideas, making all students' involvement more engagement and more exciting. This helped me within my lesson to teach the student, but also help the other students or the weaker students to grasp the concept they did not memorize, or not just for them to memorize the idea. Let's move to level 3. Level 3, apply. Finally, we reach level 3. This is where the magic happens. For the TVET teachers, this is like your bread and butter. I can give the students a short paragraph set in motion a rainy day on the minibus, something that is familiar to all of them. Task them to identify the narrative element in this passage. In applying on level 3 of the Bloom's taxonomy, students now use the new knowledge gained and apply it to the practical exercise. Therefore, we can use verbs or examples like use this to formulate that, conduct an experiment using the given procedure, apply the grammar rules to create new sentence. How this can be applied to your lessons? By a simple objective. Students will solve real life maths problem. So we can go in the lab, do hands-on experiment, do role play in the class, or even real life simulation. One student say, Miss, this definitely sounds like a route on the 45 bus. I know a conductor there. The whole class may laugh because they're all engaged since they have the similar experience and they can apply this knowledge to the story. Using level 1 to 3 transformed the flow of my lesson. It helped me to build confidence, then understanding, then an active application within my classroom. My students become stronger to apply the knowledge they have gained, and even the weaker ones successfully remember and understand the lesson. It brings a balance to the room and make teaching feel smoother and more intentional. Thank you for listening.
Good day, all. I am Latoya, and I will be focusing on levels 4, 5, and 6: analyze, evaluate, and create on the Bloom's taxonomy. So let's look at level 4: analyzing. This is where students will break information into parts to explore relationships. They use verbs such as compare or contrast, categorize, examine, etc. Example: compare and contrast two characters, concepts, or processes. Categorize items into correct groups based on their features and identify errors in a procedure, or argument. Now, how does this apply to lesson planning? Objective: students will compare plant and animal cells. Activity: they will use Venn diagrams and sorting tasks. Moving on to level 5, which is evaluate. This level is where we make judgments based on criteria and evidence, critiquing arguments, ideas, or process to form an opinion. There is no often single correct answer. Some key verbs used are judge, justify, defend, support, assess, etc. Example: students will justify whether WWI could have been avoided. Activity: they will be using debate, peer review, or ranking tasks. And the sixth level on the higher order thinking of the Bloom's taxonomy is create. This is where you'll be using your knowledge or elements to form something original or produce new work. And the key verbs there we'll be using is construct, design, plan, produce, etc. How would it apply to lesson planning? The objective: students will create a model of a renewable energy device. Activity: they will be using projects, prototypes, and presentations. To sum it up all, the Bloom's taxonomy guides learning from basic recall to higher order thinking. It helps educators plan lessons that build understanding, encourage critical thinking, and support students in creating, evaluating, and applying knowledge effectively. These are our references, and thank you for listening to our presentation. Thank you.